well, where our camp countdown has reached 2 days till Chargers rookies report. Ooh. I have asked our esteemed panelists for some burning questions. Bill Barnwell, what's yours?
My burning question is whether the Steelers are actually going to trade T.J. Watt, who is up for a new deal after the season, reportedly wants to be paid appropriately as one of the highest paid edge rushers in all of football. A Steelers team that has basically made moves suggesting they're all in this offseason with a 41-year-old quarterback. Can they really justify trading away their best player when they're in a position to win now with that current roster?
I don't think so. Dominique, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's unlikely. I can't imagine that they would trade him for draft picks because, as Bill said, they're looking to go all in this season. Maybe they could figure out someone that's willing to do a trade like the Fitzpatrick and Jalen Ramsey trade where you trade two talented kind of players who are still can contribute right now. But I see it as unlikely. Like, I think T.J. Watt plays for them this year, and they make as good a run as they possibly can.
Still looking for that contract extension. We will see. Kevin Clark, what's your burning?
One of the stories to come out of this trade, or topics of discussion, certainly nationwide, online, TV, radio, all of it, is that the Steelers gave raises to Jonnu Smith and to Jalen Ramsey, and they got a guy in T.J. Watt looking for his, and he doesn't have it yet, and thus these two sides can split. And I now give you the floor on what the heck is going on between the Steelers and T.J. Watt. Tom.
Like a lot of negotiations, Rich, the Steelers have been trying to give T.J. Watt that raise. They've been trying to do an extension with him. The sides just aren't there yet in terms of exactly what that needs to look like. T.J. Watt's due about $21 million in the last year of his contract. Certainly there's an acknowledgement for all parties that that's not the worth of T.J. Watt. But the question becomes, with a 31-year-old pass rusher, are you willing to pay him upwards of $40 million per year coming off a back half of 2024 where he didn't and the defense didn't play the way that we've been accustomed to seeing them in the past. TJ Watt's been a durable player, but he has played through a lot of injuries too in recent years here. Again, the Steelers stand willing to pay him, Rich, and I would tell you, not making a prediction, but I would tell you, based upon my reading of this situation, if and when a deal gets done with T.J. Watt in Pittsburgh, and I've said repeatedly here and elsewhere, I believe that they will find a way, if not before training camp, then before the season, to get that done. It is going to be north of Myles Garrett. It is going to be upwards of $40 million per year, which then in turn is going to have an impact on some of these other pass rushers that are looking for new deals as well. The question becomes, all right, if it's going to be whatever the number is, $42 million, what's the structure of that? What are the guarantees in that contract? If it's, say, just to throw out a ballpark number, $120 million fully guaranteed for T.J. Watt, do you feel comfortable with a player that age who does have an injury history, not coming off the best ending to the season, paying that type of money? For T.J. Watt, you're going, this is probably the last big bite at the apple I'm going to have. I've got the leverage because the Steelers right now on paper are all in, and I'm a big part of that. And if I don't get the contract I want, I'm going to make this a headache for them going all the way through training camp. Would T.J. Watt ever say, I'm just going to retire rather than playing for $21 million? That's hard to imagine, but there's a lot of different directions that these things can go. Do I anticipate that T.J. Watt gets traded? No. Never say never. In the NFL in 2025, Rich, we've seen wilder things than this happen, particularly, again, with older players. But you have to ask yourself this. In an offseason where they have absolutely gone all in on veteran players.
Exactly.
Let's call that, not older players. Veteran players who are geared to win now. Bring in Aaron Rodgers, bring in DK Metcalf, who's still young, but another high-priced veteran player. You bring in Jonnu Smith and Jalen Ramsey and Darius Slay. Trading away T.J. Watt will be so antithetical to the way that you are building this roster. It wouldn't make sense. But the other part of it is, even if you get to a point and you're like, we're at a stalemate, what can you get at this point for T.J. Watt? For one thing, a 2026 draft pick doesn't help you. But even if you were getting a 2026 draft pick, is somebody giving up a first-round pick and more for T.J. Watt? Again, never say never, Rich, but when the Bengals were at Trey Hendrickson's request, shopping Trey Hendrickson earlier this offseason, they were asking for a first-round pick. They weren't being offered a first-round pick for a guy who led the league in sacks last year and has like 35 sacks over the past 2 seasons. They're almost the exact same age. They both want a new contract. Trey Hendrickson's been asking for less than T.J. Watt has been asking for, and they didn't get offered a 1. That really raises the question then, and Trey Hendrickson's also been more, a little bit more durable. He hasn't been as banged up. He played better down the stretch last season. Could the Steelers even get a first-round pick? If you're offered a second or something, which again is a 2026 second, that doesn't help you when you're all in 2025, would it even make sense to consider it? So I wouldn't rule anything out. There's a lot of different ways that this can go. Certainly, that TJ Watt is frustrated at this point, that things are not worked out here. What do I see being the most likely way that this sorts itself out? Sometime between now and September 8th, I think, is their opener. They end up getting a deal done with TJ Watt. When does that happen? What do the numbers look like? All I would tell you, Rich, is it is going to be big money, and I do believe, again, pending any other deals that get done between now and then, I believe we're going to see a reset in the edge market again.
Damn straight, man. Like, this is, Morgan Freeman Oscars standing ovation gif right now. There's no reason to play footsie with TJ Watt when every other egg is in the Aaron Rodgers 2025 basket for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And if you're telling me that the idea of surpassing the annual average value of Myles Garrett's contract, or at least on an annual basis, right, is something the Steelers are, don't have a problem with, this is going to get done. It's just the only matter of when and what it looks like and anything like that. And certainly, again, Rodgers is working out with Steelers right now. Like, the photographs are all over the place of him being with his teammates out here. I think it's out here in Southern California, right, gents? And
Malibu, baby.
I mean, please. I mean, like, the wheels are in motion, man. Like, the bonding is in motion. Like, this is rolling. And TJ Watt sitting at home right now, I'm sure is like this. He wants to be in training camp. He understands that the chance for success is not holding in or holding out. And the Steelers know this too. Like, I understand. We had Jerry Dulac on earlier this week. He gave like August 23rd or on as when he thinks midnight's going to strike. It should strike in 3 weeks. Like, get this guy in. Don't have Tomlin being asked all these questions that makes him pissed off for just a moment. Obviously, he can put velvet ropes around a conversation media-wise like nobody's business. But what are we doing here? Like, figure out the math, get him in. We all know, like, you're, as you said, what are you going to get, a 1, even if you're lucky? For what? For the future? No, the future's now in Pittsburgh.
What team wants to give up a first-round pick and over $40 million per year for a 31-year-old pass rusher? It's got to be. It's a short list.
I know it's not just any. It's not just any 31-year-old pass rusher, though, right? I mean,
and think you're one player away. Right. But that's a ton. It's just a ton to give up, because at most, what are you thinking? You're getting 2 or 3 more years of prime TJ Watt. It's a hard sell. Those deals don't happen a whole lot. I would say this, and Jerry, who knows that team inside and out, he's probably right, because let's also remember this, Rich. TJ Watt doesn't do a ton in training camp anyway.
Right.
Mike Tomlin doesn't exactly grind his veterans. The young guys, I mean, you go to Steelers camp, they are hitting. It's the pads on,
right.
And it is, they're still doing, versions of like an Oklahoma-style drill, which you just don't see anyplace else. But like, he takes it pretty easy on the guys that he knows need more rest here. So when would TJ Watt really be ramping things up? It's probably down the stretch in training camp. The sooner the better, but they're one of the last teams to report. I think they're a July 23rd reporting date team. So they're one of the last teams in, and we'll see exactly what transpires between now and then. Any idea of a trade, barring some team calling up Omar Khan today and saying, hey, we'll give you a first round pick and more for TJ Watt. Even then, I think there's a real conversation of like, does this make any sense for us? I don't see that happening. I think that this is going to be something that it does get resolved, but again, we've seen strange things happen in the past, so stay tuned to exactly how this thing ends up getting resolved.
Skull Nation, buckle up, because this ain't just another rumor. The Minnesota Vikings are reportedly deep in talks with the Pittsburgh Steelers to trade for 7-time Pro Bowler, an absolute game wrecker, TJ Watt. Yeah, you heard that right, TJ freaking Watt in purple and gold. This could be one of the biggest trades in franchise history. Let's break down everything we know and what it would mean for the Vikings defense in 2025. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications. Let's ride. So here's the situation. The Steelers have been going crazy this offseason. First they landed DK Metcalf, then they moved George Pickens to Dallas, and then they did the unthinkable. Signed Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, that Aaron Rodgers. It's been all-in mode for Pittsburgh. But while all this was happening, one massive problem was brewing. TJ Watt has been holding out of minicamp, and now the standoff over his contract is getting uglier by the day. According to sources close to the situation, Pittsburgh is seriously listening to offers, and the team that's come out of nowhere as a real contender to land him? That's right, it's our Minnesota Vikings. Look, the Vikings had one of the most explosive offenses in the NFL last season. We went 14-3 with Josh Dobbs, Jaron Hall, and Nick Mullins at quarterback before injuries caught up with us. But if there was one part of the team that needed serious work, it was the defense, especially the pass rush. We lost Danielle Hunter. We've got promising young guys like Dallas Turner and Andre Carter too, and we brought in Jonathan Greenard. But adding someone like TJ Watt, that turns the entire defense into a nightmare. Brian Flores knows Watt from Pittsburgh. This wouldn't just be a splash, it would be strategic. Flores knows exactly how to unlock his full potential. He already built a top 10 pressure rate defense in 2024 without an elite edge like Watt. Let me throw some numbers at you. In 2024, Watt had 61 tackles, 11.5 sacks, 19 tackles for loss, a PFF grade of 92.2, third best out of 201 edge rushers in the entire NFL. And we're not talking about a guy past his prime. He's only 30. He's led the NFL in sacks 3 times and tackles for loss twice. This is not just some legacy name. This is still one of the top 3 defensive players in the game. Now, let's talk business. Watt's on a $112 million deal. He's not coming cheap. But guess what? The Vikings have cap space flexibility right now with rookie JJ McCarthy on a team-friendly deal, and Kwesi has built this roster to be aggressive when the moment is right. That moment is now. From what's being reported, the Vikings could be offering a first-round pick, plus maybe a defensive player or two. Think someone like DJ Wanham or an extra rotational linebacker to get the deal done. Imagine this front 7. Dallas Turner on one side, TJ Watt on the other. Jonathan Greenard crashing from the interior, Ivan Pace Jr. blitzing up the middle, Harrison Phillips and Byron Murphy up front. That's not just scary, that's downright illegal. And don't forget, our secondary is young and hungry. You give them a real pass rush. This defense goes from decent to dominant overnight. Look, I know this is a massive move, and some of y'all are gonna say it's risky, but this is a team that believes it can win now. Justin Jefferson is in his prime. We just got our franchise QB. We're not playing for 5 years from now. We're playing for February 2026. So I gotta ask you, do you pull the trigger on TJ Watt? Would you give up a first and maybe more for a proven game changer on defense? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear from Skull Nation. Whether this deal happens tomorrow or right before the trade deadline, the fact that we're even in this conversation shows how far this team has come. TJ Watt in purple? Man, just the thought of that gets me fired up. If you're hyped too, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any updates. I'm Victor, this is Report Vikings, and the North just might not be ready for what's coming. Skull!